Hello, everyone. And today we are on the Better Health Education series with Bob. Bob from the US. Hi, Bob.
How are you? And we're here in Thailand right now.
Yeah, so we're here in Thailand in my little hut. The reason why we thought it would be interesting to interview Bob is because he have a very interesting, to say the least, interesting experience for the last 10 years. He spent 5 years in a wheelchair and then somehow magically, by his own willpower, got himself from the wheelchair into a king, and now he's walking freely. Like Bob, as a biochemist and an athlete, like from pretty much most of your life, what does that mean for you? What does physical and mental health mean for you?
Well, here we go. So now, look, I was brought up in America as an athlete, and the physicality was about competition, right? It was about getting up when you were hit, trying again, perseverance, learning how not to quit, and that was part of the training when we were young athletes. And so today, I'm a little bit older now, and so the physicality has always been part of my life. It's for balance. It's for me to blow off endorphins, certainly to feel good, but to allow my mind to relax and be in the moment. So when I'm physical or doing exercise or hiking or whatever it might be, it takes this mind and lets it clear. So all the thoughts that are troubling me, any ideas, they go away. And so I need physical activity to clear my mind. Obviously, it's better for my body and health, but mainly it's so I can um, drop what's on my mind and just be. And so that's why I use physical activity.
Wow, thank you. I just, whenever I get a stress, I would go work out. But in your case, it's a little bit more than a little stress. You were in 24-hour pain for like more than 5 years of your life when you're having this disease. And so it's quite draining, and it's quite demanding in the mental state to stay afloat, so to speak. So, like, tell us, like, what I mean, like you mentioned about your athletic training and keep going and not, fall down and get up, fall down and get up. But that, you know, that there's some limit. And what you did was really amazing. So tell us, like, what have been your tricks to move yourself along and maintain this mental strain?
So we didn't talk much about what happened to me, but a lot of these diseases are progressive. So over time, we call them IT band syndrome. They're neuropathy. You get numbness in your feet and legs. Muscles begin to deteriorate as my spine deteriorated. And this is a lot of feelings that you can't describe because they're not normal. So a lot of what happens when you get neuropathy or neurodegenerative disease and just things that they can't describe because they're not normal. So it's difficult to describe what happens. But when you get that type of inflammation, it takes over your whole body because it's inflammatory. And a lot of you know that. It could be the food you eat or the air you breathe or some plastic that bothers you and your body overreacts. And so it's not a matter of what causes it, but that it takes over your body. And so for me, it became not only physically debilitating, but of course mentally. So you've got to use a good portion of your brain to block the pain. I don't like opiates, and then there will be no opiates in my life. There are no types of drugs that you use, that the NSAIDs, the anti-steroid, those types of things. Ibuprofen, just didn't use them. And so it's difficult to use your mind to begin to block out pain. We've talked about my rambling problem, but here's the deal. I went through, binaural beats. I did music. I did, meditation, all these things that one might do to start to capture um, routines that would help me handle the constant pain. And one of the talks we'd had is when you get this type of pain, you're just below the surface of the ocean. You're underwater, you're drowning, you can't breathe, you're just trapped. And every so often, your head bobs up and it's gone.
Mhm.
And you're above the surface of the ocean. Then you're back under. So a lot of this type of disease and these issues they're about that moment that you get when you're above and that calm happens, and that gives you a lot of hope for the future.
Mm.
And so a lot of this is about managing your day to day, but managing your hope. We do have hope, and hope's a very powerful thing, right? And hope could just be this tomorrow. And it's a lot of what I went through, and still not as much today, because I'm good. And so that's the problem. I'm taking this health for granted, aren't I? Right? Because I'm fine. It's pretty easy to do, isn't it?
It's easy to take things for granted. That, but while
But I didn't answer your
we're not
question.
going to do that, is that for our ongoing maintenance.
Yes.
You know, like, you know, sure, we take things for granted, but then something could happen tomorrow.
Yes.
So, like, for your ongoing maintenance, your physical, mental health, I know that you are very, you know, you're a very disciplined man. You have a lot of you have lots of systems in place. Tell us the one thing that you must have to keep you going. That one thing that makes everything else easier in your life.
Well, it's for me, it really is a physical activity, some sort of routine gym. Even when I was on a cane and I couldn't walk, I still got myself into a gym. I lived in a high rise because I could take an elevator down to the gym. I could walk in on a cane and get on a spin bike or move some weights. It's very important for me. And today it's important. I need that start of the day or some period. It cleans my mind. It's that routine that benchmarks everything I do. It's something I look forward to. It's something that sometimes is a little more painful. I swim now. I mentioned that before.
Yeah.
It's something I hadn't done. I was afraid of the water when I was younger, and of course I couldn't walk. So those pools are pretty handy, right? If you've got buoyancy. So I took up swimming. And again, there's there's a yoga aspect to swimming. You're breathing, right? You're regulating your breathing. It's much different than running or pushing weights or these American types of activities. There is a breathing and a meditation to swimming. So anyway, the most important thing for me in managing, benchmarking my life, pain or pain-free, is some form of exercise. And it can be certainly yoga or swimming or
Someday.
Yeah, well, all right. So I do a little yoga and I've taken my classes, but of course, like your classic, not enough, and I need to. And so, and you understand why. It's really is about the mental aspect in that activity. And so again, what I do need is that type of physical activity. It cleans out on my mind and it structures my day. And it didn't matter whether I was on a cane or if I'm free today. And it could just be a 4-mile walk in a city park here in Bangkok. And I have other homes in the world, and they have different environments. And so I enjoy that. I happen to like walking in nature. So again, for me, ideally, it's being in nature, exercising, maybe be in the ocean, be in the jungles of Thailand, or a park here in Bangkok.
Okay, well, thank you, Bob. Thank you for sharing your insight. So what we would do is we're going to put Bob's email, not his email, his website down below. Bob, we didn't really talk about his product, but he had, because of his own health, he had developed this amazing line of product to help people with similar issues with the nervous system. And I tried it a little bit. It seems to work. I have got my parent onto it. Seems to work, but you know, we require physical movement with the palm. So anyway, we're going to put Bob's website down below, and then we also will put the link to this set of education information down below as well. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for sharing your personal journey on this health and mental health issue.
You betcha.